And a very warm welcome back to the PGL Major Krakow. Day number 1 of 8 days, of course, ahead of us. 7 of those bringing you Counter-Strike global offensive action of the very highest caliber. We've started off with a Gambit win. It is Gambit to take a 1-0 into day number 2. Next up, though, 2 veterans of the scene, 2 veteran teams of the scene, 2 veteran teams of majors as well. This might well be the most experienced matchup of any matchup we see all week. It is Flipsid versus Fnatic. We're back with Moses and Fiflaren once more on the desk. Talking of old veterans, Grizzly veterans.
It's so weird that you say that, like in terms of what the most experienced game, because when you think of Flipside, you don't think that. You think,
and yet here they are
barely
in
top
their
20
7th
team,
consecutive major.
Barely top 20 team. Doesn't really go out of groups all too often in general tournaments, but they always get to the majors.
Always, doesn't matter what shape they're in.
I think they've only been to the playoffs once, right? But
yeah, only once.
They just always
beating your boys in NIP.
Yeah,
good times.
Good times.
Great memories.
Before we go down that particular memory lane, let's talk about Fnatic. These boys are legends. They've finally reformed back into a semblance of the major teams.
They were
that
legends
we've seen
across
before.
2 different teams.
Absolutely,
for me,
they were. Yeah,
not bad.
Massive experience, but not in the best of form recently. Has to be said.
No, but like the feeling around this team is that they've been getting back there and they've been improving. Now, obviously, it's tough to look at them and be disappointed that like Olaf isn't the best player for a year straight, because I mean I think no one ever thought that would be broken, except for maybe by Cold Zera is starting to come alive in that streak. But Olaf for like 2015 for like a year straight was the best player, so you can't think he's going to get back to that. JW's style has been really, really tough for him to continue. All of them had like these very weird like play styles, these very different play styles than any player in the scene could actually replicate, and that's what made them so good. And now we're kind of seeing, yeah, they're getting back to it. They've had some bad luck, but still they're finding as well that same style that made them gods in 2015 does not work right now. It's not something that they can sustain moving forward.
Yeah. Your thoughts on this team? I mean, you played many of these guys over the years, and there's always tough battles with these, wasn't it, back in the day in the Fnatic era?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Yeah, just man by man, this team. I mean, Dennis wasn't playing at the time, but back in the old day when JW just had such a weird way of playing the game, very random, running around with the AWP. You had Crims that was one of the best CT-sided players that you know have ever played the game, and then you had Olfmeister, the best player in the world, just a guy that would always put up the numbers, would always perform.
And you hadn't even gotten to Flusha, who was like the best rated player.
I haven't even gotten to Flusha, and that's insane to me. Like if you look at this team and you look at what they have accomplished, it's just so much. So much skill within this team. And Flusha, yeah, like you're saying, one of the best lurkers. During majors, he's the even over Olofmeister, he's the best rated player. But as the past 3 months, Flusha has not had the best of times. And Olofmeister, like Jace was saying, yeah, he was the best player back in 2015. He ended up getting that injury, and I felt like he never really came back from that.
This team at the moment to me feels like it's really like Olaf and Dennis, and then like the other 3 just have like flashes of their old selves from time to time, like individual maps or individual series where they look good. I mean, JW, we've seen him jump back and have some phenomenal opping games. It's not like that consistently, which is a little bit tough. And I think that's kind of the main buzzword with this team at the moment is consistency, because you need those other players around them to be consistent in their performance and what they can do. I mean, Crims, you just mentioned it, one of the best CT sided players. He was the first player that really showed because of like the peeker's advantage and the aggression in this game. He was the first player that showed you could still be like a passive defender, and that was so hard for people to play against it because it was just a unique style. Now we see it with other players like Zipnix. I mean, has brought it forward, and other kind of players have done that same kind of positioning and immobile defensive style that he had.
A couple of milestones in this particular match, which will happen one way or the other. Olaf and Meister and Crims are currently on 1,986 rounds played at all majors. They will break 2,000. They'll be the first 2 players to ever do that in history. Also, one of the old NIP records, which I'm sure you'll be aware of, 78 maps played by the core 4. Forest, Exist, Freiburg and Get Right will be equaled in this particular match, and obviously beaten during this major by Olaf Meister and Crims. They've just been around forever.
No, and when you look at it, I mean, Olafmeister and Crims used to play for LGB back when Fnatic would won their first major and stuff, and you would have thought that it would be JW and Flusha that would be breaking these records, but actually no. LGB after Fnatic won that first major, they just went into a massive slump, didn't really win anything else after that, and just never performed. And then you had LGB, the 3rd best team in Sweden, just
making deep runs.
Yeah, making deep runs in majors, in tournaments, and I think we ended up beating them in Katowice back in 2014. And just overall, really good team. And actually 3 of the players. Dennis, Olfmeister, but Dennis has
Dennis not the one with the
stuff.
major. Yeah,
exactly.
Unfortunately.
No, just overall, it's just such a very experienced team that we have on our hands.
Okay, talking of experience, we also have an experienced team in the form of Flipside. We've already mentioned briefly at the start of this particular part of the show that they seem to have this knack, Robin, of getting to the finals, getting to the majors. It happened again this year. I think this is probably the most remarkable one because they just haven't played any Counter-Strike. So when you look at it, you go, okay, Astralis taking time out, taking like one tournament out, you get it, you kind of understand it. They want to protect some information. Flipside spending 5 months on the sideline and then getting through the qualifiers. That's all we know about them.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I see it, this is one of the reasons why I don't tend to like the Swiss system that much, because if you look at it, when you have these best-of-1 games, and especially the way that it works, because we don't reseed after every game, it's just essentially random. You play the team that you end up having the same record with, right? So if you look at Flipside, the games that they did end up playing or winning at the offline qualifier, we were talking about teams like Renegades, Hellraisers, and Liquid. They lost to Cloud9, they lost to G2. So it's not necessarily Liquid didn't have the best of times in the offline qualifiers. Renegades, same thing there, and Hellraisers. So they had a easy way into this tournament, but it doesn't really matter. Just the fact that this always happens. Yeah. They always make their way here, and that is just not a fluke.
No,
these guys put it under pressure. Blade here on your screen is just really good in game leader. I feel like he's very, very good in his calling. Just really works with his players really well.
Yeah, but that's the point, isn't it, Jason? They were strategical. They were able to overcome some of the teams who maybe weren't that strategical. There were a lot of teams in flux in that qualifier, admittedly, and that's the perfect proving ground for Flipside, isn't it?
It's all they've got is a tactical and strategic approach to this game. They're pretty much outskilled by everyone outside of Electronic, who we saw have that massive game against Team Liquid. But they're going to have to beat teams with strategy and tactics. And when we talked to Blade at the offline qualifier in one of the interviews after one of their victories, I remember asking him like, why did you guys do this? And if you look back at the record, I mean, he referenced it completely. They won DreamHack Open Leipzig, which was in January right before the major. They go into the major, they get last place. They go out in the Swiss system 0-3, and he's just saying, especially with a style like this, you need time to change your tactics. You need time to improvise and add new wrinkles into it. You need time to kind of make sure everyone's on the same page, and there's always going to be a refresher course when you're so strat heavy. So they're just saying it's not worth it for us to go to all these events. When it's not worth it for us to play in all the online leagues and try and qualify for Pro League and do all these different things while going to events and then not have time to actually innovate tactically. They need that.
They've played 16 maps in 2017 offline.
And I think 7 of them are in the last 3 months. So it's like, I mean, it's a team, and it's tough to talk about. And I think one of the kind of, I guess you call it an advantage in a way, because we do it from time to time, is there's just like not really a whole lot if you're an opposing team to look into. I mean, if you look at them and you say, okay, what are they going to pick and what are they going to ban? I think that their most played map is they've played it twice in the past 3 months. That was like Nuke they've played twice, Mirage they've played twice, and everything else is played once except for Cobble and Cash. You have to assume one of those maps they've got something prepared, probably both of them, because that would be a huge advantage for them, being able to come in and play 7 maps competently so they can target, pick, ban against their opponents, and they can really, really anti-strat them in that aspect.
And you wouldn't put it past Blade either.
Yeah, no, it's exactly what he'd love to do. So if you look at him, you're just like, how do we even ban against this? How do we know what they're going to want to play? How do we know what they're going to ban, what they're going to pick? And if you don't know that, you can't even possibly look at a demo, even if there is one available for that particular map.
Okay, Matt Vito's ahead shortly, of course, and we'll also hear from the Fnatic coach as well. But Robin, I want to pick your brain, and you need to be very careful with the answers you give to this question.
All right.
Do it.
Because I'm on the train, along with Lurpis and along with Anders,
Markelov,
that Markelov has to warp again. Tell me you believe, Robin.
So what I will say,
why are we still talking about
what I will say, and I don't know what happened with this, right? Because Markelov's team back when he was playing for Navi, when they switched over to CSGO, I mean, we were playing at the time, and even in the beginning stages, I think I only saw Markelov maybe up the first month. So I don't necessarily know what happened there. It doesn't make that much sense to me if you have one of the best operators in 1.6 move over to this game, and technically in this game it should be easier to op than it was in 1.6. Right. And he just doesn't.
But it's different. That's the point.
It's
definitely
different. It's definitely certainly was at the beginning as well. The very beginning of CS:GO opping was like really strong.
Yeah, no, exactly. It was very strong, and yes, it is definitely different. I think the Counter-Strike source operators had a much easier time than the 1.6 players, but it just never really. I just don't get it. Why?
And he took away one of my burns there.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well,
Because you transitioned really easy. Oh, but then you played Source. See, you can't burn him now.
No, you can't.
I can't. I haven't played the game for 3 years. I am untouchable, guys.
To be fair, I mean, Source that's slow brow. It's just like an easy burn.
Wow.
It's there at all the times. You know, you just can't really recover from it.
That is true.
That is true.
I mean, here's the thing, though. If you're going to say that about Markelov, right, then the same conversation is like, why doesn't Neo dominate the way he did in 1.6? I think part of it is desire. I mean, opping is like kind of a little bit of one of those roles where you have to really, really want to be an opper. And if you don't even want to practice at it, if you don't want to work out the positioning and how you can peak, no point in even attempting. So at this point, listen, guys. We all have some nostalgia. We've all seen some things in those Markelov
There's
frag videos.
nothing wrong with having dreams.
He's not going to op again.
There's nothing wrong with having dreams.
It's gotten to the point where Anders literally gets like the most excited during a cast when someone walks into Markelov's AWP crosshair when he's picked it up off a dead body. It's just like,
he's so good.
It's not even a difficult shot, and it's just overhyped.
No, I'm sorry. I don't believe
But
anything
he is
you're
still
telling
a phenomenal
me right now.
player. Much like Neo, he has found a way to have great impact on this team.
Yes, and that's exactly what I was going for. I think that, as Jason was touching on before with the op, and there's just so much work to be done there, right? Whereas like for Markelov, he was, at the time even, he was getting older. You know, maybe he didn't want to spend that much time to play
by
video
the way,
games,
he's one of only 18 players left in the world that's played at every major.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
And doing it from not one of the top teams. In fact, one of the only players to be there. There are 4, actually. There are 4 players of the 18 that have played at every major that haven't won a title, and he's one of them. That's an incredible record.
Here's the thing as well. When you're a player that had the pedigree in 1.6 that he had, and especially being one of the best oppers, I can attest to it as someone who played 1.6, took a break, and then came back to play CSGO at a high level. You can probably attest to it when you guys made the transition. There's been plenty of players who have tried to come back into CSGO now that it's gotten this big. Sure. And the toughest part about it is the mentality of having to break down the old habits that you still have formed from 1.6, from Source, and having to rebuild them in CSGO, and the mentality to have to be able to stick to that and to be disciplined enough to do it game in, game out, and eventually change those habits. As an opper who played at such a high level, was so dominant, I have to imagine he probably struggled somewhat playing with it in like scrims and practices, and was just like, this just isn't for me. And like, to develop the flick shots the way he did, the reactions, the different angles, the different peaks he could do in 1.6, to break those down when he's the best opper in like the history of 1.6. It's got to be just an intimidating and very, very depressing as that opper to go into CSGO and not be able to do the same things.
Yeah, I mean, Markelov is the one standout that we've talked about in 1.6. Neo could also be another one as well. And there were a few over on the Source side who were really, really good AWPers, just didn't make that transition. I'm going to give a shout out to Hellblinder for being one of those guys. Just incredible. When you watch him, you just think, well, how has he not transitioned? Yeah. That's absurd. And I think we probably lost a few along the way on both sides of the fence.
Opping in Source was quite nice. Even I was an opper in Source.
Yeah, but
I mean,
Existence was an opper in Source.
Who?
Existence.
That's true. That's true. He was also very good at it.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Robin
was fairly good at it.
I wasn't opping that much. When Hellblinder joined my team, he was doing most of it. Thankfully.
He was ridiculous.
Thankfully, yeah, he was really good.
He was absolutely
No,
absurd.
but I mean, I would say it doesn't have to necessarily even be about the op, right? When you switch games, it's just so much work that needs to be done. Yeah. It's just so much that you have to put
because Jason
into.
was mentioning mentality, is it also that whole, I don't want to have to relearn this, I already know this, and there's sort of frustration that you kind of go, well, I'm already really good at it, why do I have to change? Why can't the game change the way I want to play it?
No, I mean, you can definitely see that. I think that's the reason why so many, especially the 1.6 teams, right, took so long to actually just move over. The Source players was just like, our scene was already a little bit smaller than 1.6 to begin with. Yeah. Whereas like, this new game is out. There's going to be more tournaments with it. We only had really tournaments in the UK or in Denmark, where most of our tournaments. Where it's like, why not? Why don't we switch over? And I mean, the first team to do so was Very Games, the most dominant team in Source at the time. So.
Yes, those days seem a long way away, don't they? Shout out to Existence for not being here again.
Yeah. That's a shame. It actually is.
No, it's genuinely. I'm genuinely. It's such a shame not to see a player of that caliber here. In terms of the way that these two match up, there's a nice trip down memory lane, by the way, boys. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I had a good time.
Let's get back to Flipside versus Fnatic. How do you think they fare against each other in this?
So what I will say, for Flipside's sake now, or actually, let me switch it over. For Fnatic's sake, this veto has to go their way, because as Jace was saying as well, that Blade was saying in that interview, is that they need time to break down strats. They need a lot of time.
So Fnatic have banned Nuke and Train.
Okay, good. You know this, Paul.
Well,
I'm
just going by the logos. I'm just going by the logos. So I think that's Nuke and Train.
Yeah, I'm going to call myself that, as I have no idea what logos. I don't use them.
Flipside banned Cobble.
Nice.
You're really good at this, Paul.
I'm 3 for 3.
Waiting for the next one. I mean, those really aren't any surprises. I mean, Nuke and Cobble, neither team really likes to play them. Or Flipside plays a little bit of Nuke, but Inferno is going to be banned as well from Flipside.
I think that's extremely smart. I was just getting to that with Fnatic and their bans of being really smart on what they end up choosing here for Flipside's sake, because Flipside is going to be very tactical. They want maps that they can be very strategical on. Inferno's, I mean, it's how Fnatic got to where they were. The old Inferno was just such a playground for them.
And Dust 2. Okay, that's Cash.
I think it's gonna be a Mirage. I believe both those teams play them. I mean, Fnatic loves it.
That'd be okay for both, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but the fact that Flipside's letting through Fnatic's best map and allowing them to play on it.
But I think it's Flipside's best map too, though. I know that we don't have a huge amount of stats in there, but yeah, so it is going to be Mirage.
Yeah, the nice thing if you're a Fnatic, I mean, if you were able to kind of watch anything and glean where this might be going, there's plenty, obviously, that triple overtime versus Liquid. Like, you can, at that point in a triple overtime, Flipside's used basically everything they have. So if you're Fnatic, can get a lot of information. But it is worrying that someone like Blade is letting this through, and it's kind of like setting the trap. And we'll have to see if Fnatic like spring the trap whatsoever. But this is also one of those maps where you have to imagine as well, some of those crazy plays, some of the aggression that we see out of this Fnatic team can be very, very strong on this map, especially against those slow-paced default setups.
What was the last map? Because which one did they pick from? Mirage and
I'm not sure. I don't buy all the pins, Robin.
Overpass. Okay. So Fnatic did the right choice there. I think this really suits it. It really fits their playstyle as well when we're talking about like just very loose, very use the core of your players to do some work. Whereas for Flipside it also works. It's a very good map for both of the teams. You can be very strategical with it. You have since the map is very open, you can even smoke connector from B Palace.
It basically is Dust 2.
Yeah, it basically is.
Because you can be strategical, you can be puggy, you can mess around a little bit, you can throw a few curveballs here and there.
Definitely, but I think that this is, I still have Fnatic in my favor, but I'm just saying, like, if Flipside starts on this T side here and they get on a good roll with their strats, I think this could be really dangerous.
Fnatic kind of set the mold in a way on this map of how to kind of play it. Is take that mid control, get a player either in connector and window room or ladder room, and then you rotate back and do an execute, and he's there to cut off rotations, he's there to slow things down, get one kill. And if they were watching that Liquid match, if they watch the demos of Flipside from the major qualifier, a lot of situations where Electronic was a beast, and he was up in halls a lot, he was up in Palace, so was World Edit. They kind of switched there, whether they wanted an Opera or Electronic to be there, but either way, a lot of times it was just that one isolated player. So if you're Fnatic, I think one of the game plans has to be is find some timing where you can push with two players into that Palace and clear him out of that spot. And there's different things like that they'll be able to manipulate Flipside with and find that opening kill. But I think for Fnatic, it's just you can't be scared to be aggressive. Like, it's going to feel awkward sometimes because you're going into like that slow-paced default, which is kind of designed to not get punished by those plays. But I think as on the CT side, if Fnatic is aggressive, if they can find a way to disrupt some of these tactics, some of these executes that Flipside's going to want to do, they should be able to handle this. There was a lot of A executes as well out of Flipside, and yes, they can be tricky to handle if they're done very, very well, but Fnatic's going to be so experienced in defending against that kind of style.
In terms of the start, you'd imagine that Flipside have the choice to go. They'd probably start CT, but we've seen Blade do weird things. Yeah, just because they like. I mean, I think God B made a great point about they're trying to throw the other team off their game, right? They want to make them surprised. So he did the whole. Well, we're going to go T side then.
Yeah, if you do that and you get like, if you feel like you're just getting anti-stratted for 15 rounds and you switch into the second half, you're like, oh boy, what does he have planned now? Like, what have they figured out on this side?
It's like double mind games all of a sudden. So, but you'd still expect them to go CT, pretty standard.
I think if they have taken a lot of time here to prepare for this matchup, they should start T. Because what if you've done all this work, right? You start CT side, and Fnatic just had the run of their lives on their T side. Yeah. Blade's not going to even have an opportunity to play, to showcase these strats and actually, to grind out some rounds here. So I think if it was Blade's sake, I would actually start T.
All right, interesting. I'm just going to hold you there, gents, because I'm hearing that Scoots has found our man from Fnatic, and he's with Jumpy right now.
Thank you very much, Red Eye. Yes, I am with Jumpy. Flipside Tactics does not have a coach with them, so I only got one coach with me. It is Jumpy. How you doing today, Jumpy?
I'm doing good. First day of the major.
All right, let's get right into it. Kind of looking at both your records in the last 3 months LAN play. 7 maps for Flipside and about 26 for you guys. They have not attended much. You guys attended some stuff, dropped out of groups, but you've just been playing a lot more Counter-Strike lately. How does that make you feel? Are you nervous because you haven't been able to watch their stuff, or do you feel more confident because they haven't been playing?
Well, they played like a minor or major qualifier, so we have a little bit showing of what they play or how they play. So, but otherwise we feel comfortable in our own play style, and yeah.
Are you an anti-strat kind of coach where you really dig into whoever you're playing, or do you play your own game and just let the chips fall?
Well, I don't anti-strat, like we don't change our play. More like what kind of rounds that we have that can work good against opponents, and that make the player know what they'd like to do and stuff like that.
Okay. Now, coming off of ESL Cologne, not the greatest finish for you guys. We don't have to dwell on it, but what have you been working on in the short time you've had since then?
We've been working a lot on communication and playing together. I think that's been one of our biggest problems during these last 3 months. So that's been a heavy issue for us to work on this boot camp we had before.
And of course, you've got your legends. Your team is full of legends. Some are starting to come. Obviously, JW is playing really well. All starting to play really well. So obviously, you guys are hoping to maybe peak and take another major home. Let's talk about this veto process. New veto system. No more randomizer. No more cobble every last map. How are you feeling about the system in general, and then how it went for you today?
I like that both teams has 3 maps to ban, but maybe the order was a little bit weird. That one team bans 2, then the other team bans 3, and then you pick one. But overall, I think it's good that you have 3 bans each, so no team being left with 2 bans. So it's like more equal in that way.
And now let's talk about Mirage. It is a good map for you guys. It's not a bad map for them either, but again, not much for them on Mirage lately. They're going to start T-side, so anything you're worried about? What are your keys to victory, if you will?
Oh, our keys to victory, I think it's like playing our game and like have the confidence to do stuff, but do it together as a team and just play our game.
All right, thank you very much, Jumpy. Good luck with the tournament, and obviously today you're starting it out. That's going to do it for us here at the interview section. Back to you, Red Eye.
Thank you very much, Scoots. Yes, I'm pretty sure I called that, Robin.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure I called that.
I don't know.
It's all Robin.
Was it Robin?
It was Robin.
It's all me.
I'm going to give it to you. You're the analyst. You're the expert.
Make him look good.
We said they might start T-side, though. And that's what Blade's going to do.
It just makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay,
like,
we're done here. Our job is
I'm just so happy that I was
again.
right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had a 50% chance that I nailed it, and I feel like I'm done. I'm done with
your fee has been covered.
This is why they hire me.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's all been done.
No, but it's just that, especially on Fnatic's end as well, like Jumpy was saying there, communication is their one thing that they have to work on, and it makes total sense, mainly because of the way that they play.
Right.
Since they're not really that strat heavy, they're going to be heavily relying on individual skill, and with that comes team play, with that comes revenge fragging. If you do have one player going aggressive, like Jason was saying that they should be doing, most of the times it's going to be JW. There needs to be some communication there, so the rotations are right. So you get the flash, but you can make these individual plays happen.
Okay. I'm hearing that the plans are ready, so we are going to head over, I think. Thank you very much to Moses and Fifth Laren. He has managed to get through 2 games now without using the F word. Fifth Laren has done very well indeed. Talking of Fs, it's Flipside versus Fnatic with Game 2 from Anders and Semler.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, it was clean, Red Eye. It was clean. But when he was like talking of Fs, I thought he was going to be like, "No, let's hand it over to those 2." You know, like
could have gone off the rails, couldn't it?
All right, thank you.
We're putting a lot of pressure on Fifaren these days. I feel like, you know, he really has to sort of, you know, put his big boy shoes on and just be a grown up.
Yeah, but
it's not easy.
You're talking about a major championship winner here, Anders, on the analyst desk. You know, first game was a little iffy. You know, he was warming up. He was getting back into the flow. But it seems like the tournament atmosphere is revitalizing him. He's coming back into it, Anders.
Even if, and I'm not saying that that's true, but even if Fifaren said nothing of value at all, I'd want him here for just his boyish good looks and his laugh.
His laugh.
More than anything.
His laugh.
So, you know, I think we can keep him around pretty much regardless.
You know, I was Chad was dealing with a cold for a couple of days. You know, he's been battling it off. You know, and you know, he just heard Fifth Laren's laugh, and all of a sudden he just stood up, walked out. He was like, "That's it. My nose is cleared. Everything feels good now. My throat, it stopped scratchy."
Someone should do like just an audio book that's just like 10 hours of Fifaren laughing.
Yes. You know, at DreamHack, they have those videos where it's like, you know, the 10-hour challenge of one song on repeat. Except that I would just put everybody in such a damn good mood all DreamHack long.
It would be good. I would like it.
Maybe that's like the emergency siren. Instead of an emergency siren going off, it's just Fifth Laren laughing.
Sticking around.
Everything calms down. Everybody stops fighting.
Now, listen, this game I think is going to be very... They were making some jokes about Markelov, which obviously, personally, I find offensive. on the Divas level. I think Moses was saying that I would be happy no matter what kind of kill Markolov gets, which is probably true.
I think it was the one where it was like when the guy walks into Markolov's crosshair when Markolov picked up the off. I think that was
still exciting.
I might have got a bit of a chuckle there.
No, it's good times, but seriously, I mean, this is a strange game. You feel like you have to say that Fnatic are just looking like the better team. Flipside is just weird quantity, but they do have some interesting sort of aces up their sleeve, it seems, and one of them might well be the fact that there's like very little information to get.
What's the letter that comes before F?
Don't ask me these difficult questions, Sandra. I quit university for a reason.
You're teaching your kid the alphabet right now. Like
I'm not.
A, B, C, D, E,
I'm
F.
just not.
Right? All right, never mind. Well, changing it up. Electronic, man. I feel like that's going to be the big player. You've been shouting his praises for quite some time now. But he certainly stepped up at the major qualifier. He looked like total monster.
Yeah, I was tweeting about this guy April last year, saying that I think he was a potential player to watch. And I think he's proven that much. I mean, he doesn't have that much LAN experience yet, so it'll be very interesting to see how he does here at the actual major tournament, where we're at. Fnatic versus Flipside. We're on Mirage, second game of the PGL Major. Now let's get this underway here. Flipside will be on the T side to start off with, and they're not wasting our time at all. Now they're right in the action. Markolov opening up. In fact, Electronic from behind with a headshot on Flusher. And the bomb is going to be planted for the open. This is such a great position. A great after-plant position here for Flipside. And look at this tower boost in the corner.
Oh, I wish somebody was going to come through the murder hole towards the jungle. That would be so sick. They give up on it eventually when they hear the footsteps through CT. Now they know, and they can set up the flank themselves. Flipside. It's going to be so difficult here for JW to take point. And, well, sure enough, Waylander's going to find the headshot on him. Olofmeister looking to try and pull a Cali, but it's not going to happen. And just a flawless pistol round here for Flipside. Very aggressive, right out the gates, not wasting any time whatsoever. Just a straight execute onto the A site, and they just hit all of their shots. Not a feel-good moment for Fnatic.
No, that's how it's done if you're Flipside. Just very, very well played. I mean, that much aggression, no time at all wasted. The fact that they had the smoke towards connector, they had control of jungle, didn't give a damn about CT spawn, able to just put the bomb down right away. That's just a very powerful execute, something that we love seeing. And now what can Fnatic do? A couple of pistols being picked up. C-set 75s, 3 of them in fact. Blade gonna have no problem finding JW.
That looked a little bit close, but point blank with the MAC-10, that's pretty much the best place to be. Manages to spray down JW, start things off strong here for Flipside, and Flipside with the mid control. Very standard actual fare coming in here from Flipside as far as just, taking mid with 3, leaving one guy behind to watch Palace and Pit, and one guy up in B apartments to make sure that Fnatic can't push there. And so now Flipside, well, they get to do whatever the hell they want because they have the whole map. Last thing to get here would be short.
Looks like there's a bit of a jump going into the apartment's peak. Very standard stuff. And Olofmeister, he's got the C set, so maybe he can get 1, maybe he can get 2, but he should run out fairly quick after that. Oh, the last bullet's a headshot, and he can't follow it up. Dennis has got 1 with the Deagle. Flusher coming in with the C set, 75 Flipside. They need to turn it, and Blade will be in charge of getting a quick double. Markolov with 1, and now it's just Crims. There's no reason to fight him at all.
Absolutely not. Do not give him a chance. Do you have any nades left? Yes, Markolov has a smoke. He can smoke off kitchen. And instead, they're deciding to hold it. Cribs trying to bait out a reaction. I love this. Making it sound like he jumped through the window, setting a little bit of a trap, and now he's just kind of stomping in here, hoping to run into somebody who was low. But the 2 players who had gotten dinked earlier on were already picked off. And so it will not happen. A near perfect follow-up round there for Flipside. Keeping the 3 alive, keeping the rifles in play. And so Fnatic back to square one.
And that was Blade with a triple, and he came in from Catwalk, so he got like a really good lineup for a double kill. Otherwise, who knows? Yeah, we're going to see it here. This is so important. Imagine if this doesn't happen.
Yeah, no, it could be Fnatic holding that round. Olofmeister, he was just dancing, staying alive so long on the site, never overcommitting to a fight. Like that. JW going for the re-peek at mid-window. You can't go for the re-peek at mid-window, JW. That's what happens.
Don't think we'll be seeing too much out of Fnatic in this round. So this is all par for the course. There's nothing really out of the ordinary here if you're Fnatic. I don't even think you're going to be that worried. Just, it's always annoying losing the pistol, but You've done it so many times in the past that, you know it's about that 4th round. And it'll be interesting to see how Fnatic play. Some teams prefer to play, really standard 4th round. Just, our default is probably better than their default, so let's just go with that. And some prefer to take really big risks, and I'm wondering if we could see something like a double push into A apartments or something out of Fnatic. Something maybe that fits their style and their players.
Well, that would be a stroll down memory lane if we did see that kind of aggression on Mirage. Back in the LGB days, Fnatic days, I mean, early Fnatic, right? They were just so aggressive. Always willing to take a fight. They had a very dynamic CT side. That's what made them so powerful and such a team to fear on this map in particular. But that requires a lot of confidence, Anders. To play that kind of aggressive style on the CT side, to go and hunt for frags, requires you confidence in your ability to win the duel when the chance is there. So that's, I think, the big question mark here for Fnatic. Do they believe that they are the better team and that they are going to crush Flipside?
We'll find out now. MP7 on Flusher. It's very odd indeed. Doesn't inspire that much confidence, although it does give him a lot of grenades to work with.
And the kit.
And the kit too. Really taking one for the team. But ultimately, there isn't really any kind of really exciting stuff going on for Fnatic right now. That's not really necessarily a bad thing, especially as Olofmeister's going to get that first one. Could have been a second. Gets sewn down by Electronic, looking for more. He nearly takes down Dennis. Markolov will finish him off. That's a lot of damage from Electronic in that round. And JW, if they want to retake this, they're going to have to get a kill really quick.
What is this Flipside, though? 4 very quick rounds from Flipside. A team that is known for taking their time, for playing slow defaults, getting map control, and then executing with 40 seconds left. It's like Flipside, they've been flipped on their heads. All they want to do is go very quick contact kind of plays, or the straight execute like we saw in the pistol round. I'm loving this. This is going to throw Fnatic for a loop. If you show up expecting your opponent to play one way and he has totally changed his style, that can definitely ruin you. 1v2 clutch situation here for Crims, and he's going to back off. Not enough time to get in there and defuse that bomb, and World at it. Not even going to let him survive the round. No saving that M4.
Don't touch my television. That's what World is saying. Just leave that alone. Well then. And one of the problems here, at least, it might not have been the defining problem, but one of them is that part of that retake was Flusher coming in from Catwalk with an MP7. How do you expect to snipe someone long range with that weapon? It's always a bit risky. 4-0 for Flipside Tactics, and moving into the 5th round. We've got plenty of stuff on the flip side, but Fnatic, there's a couple of Deagles there, 3 of them in fact. Now would be a good time to just open up with 2 good Deagle headshots, steal it right back here.
What is this breakneck pace that Flipside are setting here? This is wild. Will Blade actually manage to pick something up? No, Flush a point blank with the CZ. We'll find Markolov. 2 quick kills, however, here for Flipside, and that's pretty much all that they should be getting, Fnatic. Olofmeister, he's stuck behind CT, no way out. But I think the big thing here is just that Flipside persist with this ultra aggression.
And it's hard for Fnatic because if they throw preemptive grenades in, they're not going to have any later on. Their economy's so bad that those are going to be the only grenades they have for a while at least. Crims goes down and only Markolov to die in this round, making it a quick 5 rounds here for Flipside Tactics. What an upsetting situation.
Okay.
I bet some of the analysts were are regretting laughing at Markolov, and just saying.
Oh, because Markolov totally has everything to do with this.
Listen, anything that this team does will automatically be credited to Markolov. You know how this works, Emma. Can't be surprising any longer.
Wins a team, loses a team.
I'm just saying that because they're in the green room watching, I know, and they can't say anything back right now. So yeah, I'm the one with the microphone, so I feel good about that.
12 grand. Okay, here we go. Now they decide to play it slow. This was where you start to wonder, where does the change of pace come into it? And it's going to be when World Edit gets that AWP and he can hold passively at top mid. But it seems like Fnatic, they don't want to have anything to do with that. Fearful of walking into a trap, they aren't going to overextend. And now that they've forced Flipside to slow down, to change up their pace, now we get to see the slow take of map control. 1 step at a time here from Flipside.
I quite like that from Fnatic. I like the idea of pushing middle, but I'm glad they didn't commit fully to it. The problem is if you linger around top mid as a CT, you can get sandwiched from underpass. So if you stay there forever, it could get really weird. Definitely a change of pace here. Nice grenade being thrown all the way from the T side of the map just to block off that connector. And Bomb is still back there. I think they really want Fnatic to come and peek them. They're sort of anticipating that that's what's going to happen here.
Well, that is the dream right now. Smoke's going down, allows Markelov to take a few peeks towards Connector. They aren't quite finding anything, and Fnatic right now, it looks like they've kind of given up on the mid presence themselves. They've even rotated off of B. That's Dennis, who's starting to work his way over here just to keep an eye on window.
Quite an interesting setup for Fnatic, but it might benefit them heavily as Flipside are coming for the bomb side. Electronic going to open up on Crims, though. Not the best start. Markelov with a headshot, taking down Flusher. Fnatic, they had everyone in position, but now they're actually in a lot of trouble. Markelov, is he going to extend? He will, and Olofmeister will take him down. That might have been the opening. 8 seconds as the bomb goes down. Olof almost getting a shot through, but Dennis is going to go down next, and things are falling apart right now for the Swedish side. Olof and JW have to back off with those orbs.
And this is where, if you're Flipside, you need to start thinking about getting out there and hunting them. Don't let them run away. And there we go. Sure enough, Waylander pins JW, but JW somehow manages to snip. Well, to snip. Snip a way out? I don't know. Slip out is what I was looking for there. But you have both AWPs. You have 12 grand in the bank on Blade. Get out there. Hunt those ops. Do not let Fnatic save these for the next round. They will not have the money to rebuy them.
It looks like they're going to be a bit too far away to actually catch anyone.
Wallbang? No, okay, never mind.
For a minute, you were hoping that could be true, but
there was a dream, Anders.
There was a dream. Interesting. Well, actually, not an irrelevant fact. Let's put it like that. You can wallbang from that B apartment's kitchen into underpass if you shoot with the.
Yeah, right. They do it every now and again.
There's like a little strip of wood in the floor that you can shoot through. But it's completely useless. But worth knowing, maybe.
If the stars align someday, that reminds me of like your overpass CT spawn from upper shot all the way towards T spawn. It's like the stars align, and someday that timing will work out, and you will hit that shot.
Yeah, at least that's been used. I think the other one is almost entirely useless. Well then, let's see how this turns out. We have just 7 rounds in now, and Flipside have won the first 6, so that's bad news if you're on the Fnatic team here. Obviously very frustrating. I wonder how it's going to turn out for them. They've got 2 AWP saved and UMP being picked up. That can be enough, but Flipside are back to their fast ways from earlier. And now trying to see if they can make the breakthrough. Electronic charging in, but JW's there to catch him. JW with a second kill. That's what they need. Swedish sniper in play. It's been a long time coming, and he's going to go down to World Edit, trying to re-peak that in a 4-on-3. It's very dangerous.
You know, that's where you need to channel some patience. You need to figure out how to be zen in moments like that. Because now a 3-on-3 favors Flipside, although they have recovered the AWP here on Flusha. They can even go ahead and pick up an AK dropped off. Dennis has the time, if he wants to move in there real quick, dart forward, pick up a gun. But with Flipside, the one advantage to these sorts of situations here for Flipside is that when they do commit so early on into the round, if things go south, if they are able to bring it back to an even situation like this, they still have so much time. They still have all the time in the world to force Fnatic to spread back out on the map like we're seeing now. One guy over towards B, one towards window, one on A, right? This is a situation that should favor Flipside now because all they have to do is group up again, and then they're running into a 3-on-2 or a 3-on-1, and they can just storm the base.
And just imagine Fnatic having to retake in this scenario. They're obviously hoping that won't be the thing to really occur. Flusher will take down Blade, but they've got no kits. They've got a couple of grenades, and that's pretty much it. So if Flipside ever get the bomb down here, it could get a bit strange. Nice position from Dennis, actually. Might be in a position to cancel out any kind of a bomb plant. Flusher, actually, they're going to go aggressive. This is wild. World Edit runs right in with 13 seconds left. The bomb is down. And that should be the end of it. Markelov, almost unwinnable position. You can see through that box, and Flusher will pick up the kill. A triple for him in the round. Fnatic finally winning it. That's very good news. Just to point out as well, if anyone has been missing it, Blade is at 10-1-1, starting in the 8th round.
Which is just a little worrisome. Just a little bit. Because you kind of want to see players like Electronic in that position, right? Where it's Electronic who's doing the majority of the work. Your heavy hitters who are getting strong starts where they can kind of spin out of control at that point. Once they get that confidence, then they can start taking duels, they start winning it, you get more space. You're not really looking to Blade to have that kind of job here on Flipside, so that does worry me just a little bit. But I mean, this is still early days. 6-1, Flipside in the lead, and Fnatic managing to win a clutch round there.
A lot of mid control this time from Flipside once again. Fairly aggressive and using some of their grenades, but definitely not all of them. And Fnatic's economy still not looking very good, so they need to hold on to this right now. At least they got the double orb set up in play. Flusher goes down to Blade. And that will lose them that connector control. Is there a gap? JW's looking for it. Man, if that smoke fades, World Edit is absolutely gone. He hears the jumping. Smoke is going to disappear. Just has to stand up, and it's an easy kill to Flick. Not going to come through, but Dennis took out Waylander, so it's still a 4-on-4, but that was right at the edge. World Edit could already be dead.
This is the risk that Flipside run right now, is that they start falling back into old patterns. Because they started off very confusing, right? Very aggressive out the gates. And that's not something that Fnatic are going to know how to deal with. And you're like, wait, this is Flipside. They're supposed to be playing very slow, measured kind of CS. The issue here is that now that Fnatic have won a round, do Flipside revert back into that old style that Fnatic are going to know exactly what to do against? If we start looking for duels, that's playing into Fnatic's game. That's what Fnatic want.
25 seconds is really not a lot of time when the bomb is in that mid connector. If Crims stands his ground, and admittedly he's been having a really tough game. He's only got 1 kill so far, but if he can pick up just 1 big kill here, that's all they need. Markolov is down and out. Blade with the bomb plant in front, and Crims unable to stop him, but he hits a headshot on World Edit, and that in itself is quite good. Not going to be easy for Flipside to hold his bomb site at all.
No, nigh impossible. There's still gear here to retake. Fnatic have the man advantage. They should be moving in together here, Fnatic, but there will be a chance for Dennis again to reign supreme. Dennis with the quad kill in the round. And the first 2 of those were just picks. Just the first one on Waylander over on short and ladder room, just winning that duel. I believe Markolov tried to fake it out towards B. Dennis killed him there. You know, Dennis is just winning duels right now. If you're going to keep challenging this guy one-on-one, he's too hot to handle.
That's a very good sign for Fnatic that once they, it seems like now the pattern that's being established is once Fnatic win the early duel and slow it down, actually they can close out the round. So that's not bad at all.
This has always been their strength, though, hasn't it, Anders? I mean, well, obviously during the periods of downtime where they couldn't quite count on Olafmeister or the like, JW, right, when he was doubting himself. I mean, there were moments where it was a struggle, but this is what made Fnatic such a terrifying team to play against, is that they just have the hive mind. As soon as you start getting into 3v3s and 4v4s, it's instinctual for Fnatic to know how to play together as a unit and how to lock that round down.
Oh, this could be very fast again. Coming out of the apartments, Crims with a big kill, follows up the spray on Electronic. Nothing they could do about that. And now, what's going to happen to the rest of this push? Waylander trying to open it up. That's actually huge. How did they get this far in? They had 2 men covering the middle, Fnatic. That's a misstep on their part. He shouldn't have been allowed to, but still a 2-on-4. The rest of Flipside are going to just look for kills here. Fnatic, if they just hold the bomb sites now, shouldn't be much of a chance for Flipside to do anything.
No, unless you're Dennis. Because, of course, you're going to go out and hunt for a shot there. A little bit of a chance, an opportunity given to Flipside. Unfortunately, they mess it up. Aren't able to capitalize on Dennis overstepping. And so this should now be an impossible situation. Although, as I say that, JW decides to peek against World Edit, loses that fight. 40 seconds left in the round, and we're into a 2-on-3. One thing that's holding Flipside back, however, is that they just don't have any... They have no utility.
What is going on here?
They keep peeking. And after I just said they know how to play these sorts of situations, Fnatic, what are you doing?
Just trying to make you look bad, aren't they, Semler?
Damn it.
It's personal now.
It is.
I can't believe it. I mean, they might still win this round. There's only 20 seconds. A missed opportunity there. Crims maybe could have got a shot on World Edit. 15 seconds on the clock, and they're making their way towards the B bomb site. They don't have any smoke, so they can't get rid of Olaf, but they can with a headshot. Markolov to take that kill. That's almost unbelievable. He had the AWP. He would have had every chance in the world to win that fight, but he was looking the wrong way. And now it's on Crims in a 1 versus 2. This is almost unforgivable if you're Fnatic. They should be winning this round, no problem. 2 versus 4 turned into a 1-on-2.
For once, it's actually working here for Flipside and World Edit. Crims trying to make it happen, but it's not going to be good enough. World Edit will not miss that shot.
Here's how you could have set up this kind of a defense. You could have had 1 Fnatic player in A apartments, then like 1 in B kitchen, 1 towards CT spawn, and 1 covering jungle, or even you know, back towards window. And you would have had everything covered. If they try and plant an A, the apartments guy will win it. If they try and plant B, just retake it, no problem. Retake it 2 versus 4, yeah. Olofmeister knows that was a big giveaway. 7-2 the scoreline, and Flipside turning a 2-on-4 situation into a win. That just cannot be allowed to happen.
Well, that sets it up, and now once again, very quick out onto the A side here for Flipside Tactics. Minute 30 left in this round, and Blade is already challenging. Looks for the duel, and this time he loses it. JW is there to find a kill on Electronic as well. And so a 7-2 scoreline and a man advantage for Fnatic, and that bomb is nowhere near getting planted. Once again, we're going to back off, Anders,
Yeah.
and start playing the waiting game.
Bit sloppy from Blade then, because it's actually a very uncomfortable position for Crims to be in when he's behind that triple box. Dennis is going to find Waylander. Now they've got another 2-on-4. Surely this time they can slow it all down and not make the same mistake as last time. They lost, what, 2 players fighting in middle? Don't do it again.
Dude, this is one of the big rounds, though, because both of these teams have tapped their economies. So now, really, I mean, not only can you not lose two back-to-back 2v4s, you can't give those up if you're Fnatic, but the economy is going to be in tatters for whoever loses this.
Well, that it. Trying to see if he can sneak his way in. It's kind of tricky because he can't really scope too much now. He's just making a lot of noise. I think they're hoping for a bomb plant on the other side. JW gets a kill, but Olofmeister is still holding this line, so he knows. That's smart play from Olof. Markolov should have absolutely no chance to do anything in this round. Maybe he can get one more kill with the flick coming in, but oh, a headshot as well! And Markolov going deep for it. If he could have got the one on JW, that would have been amazing. Still, not bad at all. Getting those 2 kills in definitely hurts the Fnatic economy deeply. And actually, Flipside, they're going to buy anyway.
Let's go. All right. They had enough for 2 AKs and Markolov. And those 2 kills at the end, $600 more at the end of the round, making all the difference. They're actually going to have quite a bit to work with here in terms of nades. 2 AKs, a UMP, a MAC-10, and a Tech-9 for World Edit. All right, let's go, Flipside. See what's possible here. Once again, setting up outside of the A site very early here. The question now is whether or not they actually commit together as a unit. I think that's what came back to bite them in the last round, where it was really only Blade, the guys coming from Palace, who were out.
What? Look at this Electronic. Is that the triple box Molotov? That's so incredible. I think that lands behind the triple box. If that was the round where Crims was holding there, you're dead almost instantly. This is beautiful. We rarely see any kind of innovation in sort of top-level Counter-Strike. It's so hard for people to get the time. Flipside have taken the time to maybe come up with something new. That's very interesting.
We're actually seeing it pay off a little bit here. This could be a big round. Now it's a matter of holding it. Bomb is only just now getting planted. Despite all of their antics, they're getting picked off one at a time now. JW there to trade. And sure enough, this is JW's round. 3 kills for him. They line up for Electronic, though. And a 1v2. And another one. 1v1. Olaf, he knows exactly where Electronic is playing from. Electronic, he's still got 9 bullets in the mag. And will he find the shot? The pressure is on here for Olofmeister. And Olofmeister, he's down to 23 HP. This is Electronic fighting for his team. And he will get the clutch at the end. Unbelievable. Flipside from the very brink. Quad kill clutch for Electronic.
That is absolute madness. That's twice now Fnatic have given away rounds that they shouldn't. There was plenty of time on the clock. They could have easily got the defuse. They think, listen, it's a 4-on-1. Of course we've got this. And all he has is a UMP. Russian boys, it's done. Oh, damn, we lost the round. 8-3.
Oh, the shot on jungle, man. That was so crisp.
You're going to be seeing this replay of that particular round just a lot. A star in the making, a young Russian player, showing what he could get here on the international stage. It will be JW with the opening frag, but a bit of back and forth. Dennis finally turning it in favor of Fnatic. Maybe they could do something. They've got the bomb over at that A slope, so bit of a weird situation for Flipside.
Yeah, this is a bit unfortunate. Now you have World Edit with the AWP, wondering, how do I get in here without, you can't be scoped up everywhere, Anders. There are plenty of blind spots, and so he's waiting to see if Fnatic are the ones to get clever. In the meantime, Markelov working his way back over here to double up with his teammate. And this is the right way to do it. Start peeking the angles together. There we go, sure enough.
There is a couple of flashes still left on Fnatic, so they could actually try and go for this instead. They're going to smoke it off and just buy even more time here. I mean, they would still not be in a great position, Fnatic, even if they won this round, but at least it would be a step in the right direction and maybe making up for some of the past errors that have been happening. Flipside looking to change it. AWP is out instead. Markelov with a spray on one. Pistol next in line, and Oliver's going to be going down. Flusher finally connecting with the Deagle. A bit of a sigh of relief maybe for all the Swedish fans watching. 4-8 as the scoreline here. This is an absolute crazy game. It's only game 2 of the major, but my God, we're getting there, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. Electronic is waking up thanks to that the quad kill, 91.5 ADR. I like it. But what I like more is Fnatic. They're reading. They get the read on Blade in that round. It's been a lot of A hits, a lot of early quick A hits for Flipside, and so Fnatic, they're finally like, right, 2 Palace, 2 Pit, let's go, let's dance, let's see if we can actually, catch them setting up. It worked out perfectly for Fnatic, and so that's the feel-good round that you need if you're Fnatic. At that point, you get a solid read, you're able to play out the situation correctly, and now you have a free AWP donated over into the hands of JW, who's already holding mid. Run boost, let's go. Oh, and well, nobody saw that. Nobody saw that.
Almost looked like they were about to sacrifice World Edit to the god that is JW. Just trying to appease him maybe. Dennis is fine tapping away, except for the fact that World Edit is going to get that kill. Flusher doing great work in the middle, and it's all going to be cleared out. No problem for Fnatic. 5 rounds on the board. They're still obviously in the game. Can still be done moving into the 14th here. If they finish 8-7, then all is forgiven.
All is forgiven. All is right, because you win the pistol. And we're talking about Fnatic on the T sign. The pressure will be on. But Flipside now, after that round of eco. Wondering, it doesn't look like there will be that AWP in play. It looks like it's going to be full rifles. They didn't quite have enough. Apart from Markelov. Well, Markelov got the short end of the stick. Okay, let's see. CZ on Markelov as well, not even a Tech 9.
Bit of a play for mid-control here on Flipside. Coming in from underpass as well. Always quite a powerful pincer movement in case anyone is holding in connector. Looks like Dennis is actually fighting a dangerous fight. Flusher going down. JW with the refrag. And that's very important now. Waylander trying to see if he can hunt down Dennis, who was shooting towards the Delpad position there and getting caught. Olofmeister with a headshot on Markelov. The fight is happening all over the map right now. Left and right. JW finally missing a shot there, allowing Flipside to get onto the bomb side with the bomb plant as well. This is everything for the Fnatic team. They don't have the money to buy except on maybe 1 or 2 players in the next round, so they need to win this.
Both have kits. Flash and smoke in play as well. So we'll see if they decide to actually get those into it, or if JW is just going to try and stroll out here and point blank Waylander, and sure enough, he will. Let's go to start it off. JW with the follow-up, and it's going to be the man on short. World Edit, last man alive in a 1v1, and he misses the spray. Crims with the kit is going to have the time for the defuse, and Fnatic, they actually make it through in the key round. They manage to keep it together. And where does this JW come from? He's back.
That's absolutely beautiful. And also, you see just the unfortunate position for Flipside. Once he gets the first no-scope, the next player just can't get out. You know, he has no idea where to go. And obviously, they could have been playing for time instead. They just were feeling confident, maybe a bit too early. 6-8, and moving into the last round of the half here. JW with 12 kills, tied with Blade, who's got 12 as well. Then Flipside fairly even on the board. 11 for World Edit, 10 for everybody else.
I was watching the map when JW went for the jump shot on Blade. That is actually disgusting. Well, okay then.
Classic smokes are going to go in. Are we going to see that Molotov again? I am just loving this. And this time, Flusher's actually moving into that position. He might regret that very soon. I think the grenade actually bounced off the wrong way, so he can still stick around. That's a bit of a shame. And they're moving all the way back, trying to sell this a lot, and I don't know if Fnatic are buying it.
They're doing it pretty good. Look, Fnatic have got 4 players, 3 on A side hard, and then 1 man in window. Let's see, can they pounce? There is an opening here for Flipside, and they have to know that if everything's going according to plan, we have a chance to get out. But they don't have a smoke for connector, and that's a free kill for Flusher.
But Olof is holding so far forward. He's already got 1 kill on the bomb carrier. Next in line, Olof with a triple. All of them going down. And Electronic last to fall, making the first half 8-7 in Flipside's favor. That's good news, but not quite good enough.
Yeah, what a bizarre turn of events there at the end. It looked so good in the last round where they were constantly pushing together onto the B site. They moved together, the 3 surviving players as a unit. Here, it felt like they were just running into Olaf one at a time when they actually decided to go for the push onto B. So some hesitation costing Flipside in the end. 8-7, it could have definitely been 9-6 in favor of Flipside, given the situation, the layout there at the end in the 15th round. But it looks like everybody's just raring to go. They do have an option for a few minutes of break at halftime, but everybody just wants to get back into the fight, Anders. No time wasted.
Well, I can't blame them. I think Fnatic are finally starting to wake up here. They won the last 4 rounds in a row to close out the half. That feels good, obviously. If they can win the pistol here, it's going to be great for them. 2 smokes on the terrorist side here. Second half coming up between Flipside and Fnatic, and setting up for a pretty quick push here. Smoke all the way towards jungle. Another smoke towards the top of the stairs. That's pretty much that angle covered off. Counter flash attempt coming out from Flipside just to try and buy more time, but Fnatic are making their way onto the side. No time wasted. World Edit with a headshot. Crims with a return. And Electronic having a hard time finding a kill. He's going to be going down. Blade with a refrag. Again, it's just tit for tat right now. Finally, Olafmeister going to be able to take down World Edit, and Blade and Markelov. How can they retake this?
Don't peek into Dennis. That's what you want to avoid doing. That man with the USP, he is a terror, and sure enough, they're going to peek him together and Blade! He's indomitable! Still manages to pick up 1 kill, but it's still a man advantage. And Markelov, you got a lot of ground to cover here if you want to win this round for your team. They're playing this perfectly Fnatic. Olafmeister waiting until he commits himself so far into CT. There's no hope. And Fnatic, with the quad kill on Olafmeister now, will win the pistol round on here on the T side.
And the fact that Markelov and Blade weren't together there is a big problem, because Blade had the defuse kit. So as soon as he went down that far back, imagine what Markelov would have to do to sort of, you know, either fight 2 people with no kit or get 1 kill, pick up the kit, then run back. Like, either one is a bad choice. So tie up the scoreline, 8-8. Tactical timeout here for Flipside.
Interesting timing to use a tactical timeout, though. After the pistol, you're going straight into it. Blade not wanting to waste any time whatsoever, just gets right into the thick of things here. And Fnatic, a little bit of a discussion over here, perhaps. This is a chance where Jumpy can also have a quick word with his team.
I mean, if you look at it, the overall sort of situation here, there's a good chance that Flipside are going to lose the next 2 rounds.
Yes.
Which would mean in total they'd lost 7 rounds in a row if you count the last 4 of the first half. So, yeah, if you're Blade, probably thinking, let's just calm everything down. Let's make sure that the team doesn't get too frustrated. We've still got a great, I mean, even if that's true, that'll just make it like, you know, 10-8 or something, and then it's perfectly possible for them to come back and do a good job Flipside. So,
okay, it's not a tactical, it's actually a technical.
Oh, really? Oh, headphone problems.
Or maybe it became a headphone problem after the tactical?
Yeah, I think it turned in, one turned into the other. That'll happen.
Sometimes. I mean, just want to give a quick shout out to Blay. He's not here right now, but our analyst, he's been, or our analyst, one of the prevalent analysts, standout analysts for the Asian scene, has actually been doing some of the numbers where teams now, over the past several months at LAN, they just don't seem to lose the second rounds anymore. We're getting up into like the 70-80% win rate. You win the pistol, you win the follow-up. Teams aren't making as many mistakes versus the pistols and anti-ecos anymore. So going into the major, it'll be cool to see. I'm sure Blay is going to be keeping count. It'll be cool to see, you know, if that trend continues to develop, or if we're going to see a shift back over the other way.
I could see it being a bit lower at the major, just because I think people are going to be taking more risks. I mean, we sort of saw that in the first game, right? Robs was having just a lot of really good pistol rounds where he would pick up shots with the P250, right? So I think that stat could go the other way. But yeah, you're right. That would be very interesting to try and keep a hold of. Sound issue for Flipside is what we're waiting for. It's not so bad. I think it's good timing to get it early on in the second half here. There's nothing worse than having tech issues when it's like really like the last stretch of a game and everyone is focused and everyone wants to keep going, right?
Exactly.
Right now there's like sort of a natural pause in the game anyway, so.
I saw a little bit of a grin there from Flesha.
And Crims, a bit of the Joker towards the end as well.
Well, that is the key with Fnatic.
I just can't get over the fact that his shirt says Senor-Vac. It's so ridiculous, isn't it?
He just owns it, man. Okay, I see. They're messing around with the coach.
Man, Flipside. It'd be interesting to see if they have any sort of weird plans here. This is a map I actually think we're playing the sort of the eco round on CT side. It's just very tricky because what do? It's much easier on this map for the T side, especially on the A bomb side, to scout out if there's a big stack, you know? And I mean, if you stack B, they're going to be pretty deep in the B bomb side by the time they realize. But why wouldn't they check A? You know, they can sort of safely get up into connector. Then they can start to sort of peek in and see if anyone is there. And if all you're doing is holding sandwich and jungle in A to try and hide the stack, you're going to get grenaded out anyway. So it's like, I feel like it's pretty hard on Flipside to try and do something here. But instead, they're going to go full armor and pistols and a scout on world edit. So this is a pretty big investment for Flipside in this round. Could come back to haunt them in the 4th round.
Did I misread that, or are we starting to see Olafmeister pull ahead? Well, we can talk about that afterwards here as Fnatic just go exploding onto the B site. No time wasted at all. Waylander still here with the 5-7, but not for long. Flusher runs him down with the MAC-10, and it is going to be Fnatic maintaining that man advantage going onto the B site for the plant.
Taken back by Blade for just a minute. Nice counter grenades coming out from Fnatic as the bomb goes down. They're going to smoke off that side as well. Looks like it's going to be hard for Flipside to make an entrance. They really need a kill right now. Even at the 3-on-3, Electronic goes down, and time for Blade to back off and save this. Scout, he's going to get one more shot in, but they're chasing him. He's getting a lot of shots in right now. Taking out Crim's close range here. JW still got some health left. He's going to wait to run the other way. Nice job on Blade. 2 kills, saving the Scout and that Diffuse kit, and doing some damage to Fnatic. So it's not a perfect round for Flipside. I think there was even a chance they could have turned that. But,
if Waylander gets the 2nd kill when he's spraying with the 5-7, I think that's the turning point right there.
Yeah, you're right. No, so definitely acceptable though. Fnatic going to be a bit annoyed that they had to give up that many rifles.
I'm kind of curious to see what the ADR is at again, because Olaf, well, he's kind of come alive. He's at 16 kills now, but he seems to have broken the 100 ADR as well. So he's just doing a lot of work, Olafmeister, which is kind of key for Fnatic. It used to be pretty much what got them a lot of those tournament wins. The incredible Olafmeister just rolling in. Another round of eco though for Flipside here. 9-8 lead for Fnatic on the T side. And Flipside, they're going to be counting on World Edit to get something done with that Scout, although the P250 works out pretty well. Electronic will find one. Oh, and unfortunately for him, it's not Crim's peeking up. Otherwise, he might have picked up 2 kills.
Dennis doing his best here to try and bring it back. Blade actually hit that first headshot. Now Waylander going to be able to take down Dennis. Unbelievable. 3-on-3 again, and Fnatic low on health. This is starting to get just a bit too uncomfortable if you're on the Swedish side, and they've got 2 people stuck in this corner. It's not a big risk because they know there's not going to be any Molotovs or anything coming in from Flipside, but still, they want to come out with 3 rifles alive here. They don't want to lose anybody else. That's a grenade, almost taking down 2 players. Crim's low from early on, trying to fall back. JW's going to be gone. Markelov with the kill now. The bomb is being defused. Olafmeister coming in from the apartments, getting one and saving the round. It was very close there, but he managed to pull it all the way through, getting 10 rounds for Fnatic, but they lose 4 players in doing so. And now, Flipside, they are going to buy everything they need here. This is so scary right now.
This is far too close for comfort is what it is, Anders. You look at the first half for Flipside, they were just mauling Fnatic, running right through them. Fnatic, they're nearly losing these eco rounds. They're nearly losing these rounds where they should just be building their economy and strolling right on through, worried about the 19th round when Flipside will be able to buy. Instead now, they've tapped their bank. Flipside have finally been able to buy, and this round is worth so much more now. And it looks like it's going to be the time that Fnatic decide, all right, let's apply a little bit more pressure towards the round letter over here.
They are certainly setting up for it, and at least they could do is make a bit of noise, draw someone back from the window. Markelov and Waylander are heavily smoked off on this side and waiting. JW and Window going to be boosted in. Dennis goes down. That's a great kill from Blade early on, and did he notice? I don't think he saw JW, so JW could be the linchpin here. Flusher gets the kill on Markelov, and here comes JW getting one, turning around, getting the headshot on Blade as well, and now Waylander is in so much trouble, and he's going to go down. A triple kill for the spy infiltrator. JW making his way deep in, and Electronic is going to be left alone. If not for that, especially if Blade sees JW go in a window, the round is lost for Fnatic immediately.
Oh, it felt like he had an inkling when he got the kill on Dennis. It felt like he had, maybe it looked like he was going to head over towards jungle and take a look. I think that JW was just able to make it through just a little bit too quick. Are you... You're kind of past the point now where you can afford to keep giving away guns if you're Fnatic. I mean, it is going to be a round of eco, but still, you've only got 2 players surviving now. It means that somebody's going to have to force in the next round. Ideally, you just want to keep those 3 AKs alive.
That round should go in like a playbook somewhere of just to illustrate exactly how much position matters. Like some of these kills weren't difficult kills for JW to get. He just had to be in the right position every time, and he was. So beautiful. 2 of them were someone with their backs turned.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's the first one where it's like we're gonna get the replay here. It's this first one on World Edit where World Edit, it's just shake your head. You really can't do anything about that. It's Blade who's gonna be kicking himself.
Yeah, this beautiful stuff.
That's a sick round. Not even a high five. Not even a high five, Jumpy. Come on, man. JW just unlocked that round for you, and all you're doing is looking actually like a little disapproving. I don't know.
He might just be incredibly focused, I think. He's obviously a bit scared, and he should be. They were really far behind Fnatic, but now with winning this round as well, that's what them winning 8 rounds in a row, Fnatic. 4 in the last half, and then 4 to start off this with. Flipside are starting to look like they're giving it away.
Yeah. The one thing, though, and this is you should be happy about this too, given the fact that you are, the Markelov poster boy, is the fact that Flipside actually are one of those teams who always seem to be able to come back into it, right? Like, it could be 14 rounds for Fnatic, and Flipside just never actually say die. They will keep running it back. Some teams roll over, but Flipside aren't one of them.
No, they're definitely mentally quite a strong team. A nice peak. I mean, my real dream, obviously, is that they get put under so much pressure that they say, listen, let's just screw this. Get the AWP on Markelov, let's go. It's not the AWP, but it is Deagle, and he's got 1 headshot now. There's fire and enemy players all around. He's going to miss the opportunity there. Electronic did get a kill, but he goes down, and now Markelov trapped in the corner. Are they going to fight him or just run for the other bomb side? That makes way more sense, and it's going to be exactly what they do. He will see it. So now... I mean, imagine how hard this is. He has to check so many corners when he's going to that A-bomb site.
He's so pissed right now. He's wondering where the hell his Deagle bullets are going. All those shots and hardly any damage? What is that? And so now, yeah, there's going to be a big split here between Flusha and Crims. Crims' bomb is not planted for Crims, though. That's awkward. And so had Flusha gotten caught here, this would have been a situation where Markelov might have been able to get a defuse in. Instead, now, trying to bait a response, anything at all to show.
He doesn't have a diffuse kit, so...
Yeah, why doesn't he just tap it?
Yeah, he should at least have tapped it once. He's going to be exposed to Crims anyway, who picks up a triple. It's good to see from Crims, who had a tough start in the game. He's right back up there with everybody else. 12-8, a 4-round gap has developed. And Flipside, they are back with at least 1 AWP on World Edit. This is the common... We should say this for any new viewers that are tuning in. When we talk about Markelov over, it's really just me trolling a little bit.
It's just the memes.
He is... World Edit is their main opera, in case anyone is wondering, so...
Yeah, it's just the memes, Anders. We get it. We
just the memes. 21st round here, although part of it is also serious, but that's just because I have mental problems. We'll see how this works out. World Edit will pick up all of my stuff right off the bat. That's a great way to get started here for Flipside, who have lost, the last 8 rounds in a row. They need to keep up. 2 more.
2 more to get into double digits for Flipside. And now Flusha, hoping to get lucky there, not going to find anybody. They have mid control though, Fnatic, so there is that to work with. And you have to wonder just how much Flusha is going to be working towards counting on that palace noise that he just made, because this misdirection, he's just trying to keep him in the dark, keep him guessing. The thing is here for Flipside though is that now they can just sit and wait, it looks like. Minute left, and they do want to figure out, I mean it's only a man advantage here for Flipside. But it seems like they're pretty set right now on 2 towards that B site. Waylander up on the balcony and Markelov backing him up with the 3 on A.
The really big thing here is how deep Crims is in the connector. That's a big problem for Flipside. He can do so much damage here. That Molotov is going to go a bit far for Electronic. And might also give away the fact that Crims is there. The rest are going to come out of the slope. World Edit caught sleeping in the middle of the bomb site. That's a big problem. Now it's a 4-on-4. Electronic with the spray, continuing on and taking down Dennis Waylander with the kill on Crimson. It's all on JW with 25 seconds left. He's going to go straight for the plant, and Markolov is almost there, but he slows it up just at the last second, buying time for JW to get out. It's not a good plant for him, and is he going to run all the way? What a risk. He's going to go for the next level play. This could be really deep. Are they going to realize already? Markolov close to it. He doesn't have a kit, or now he's picked one up. That's good news. And JW is too far away to stop it. If he had kept going, maybe there would have been a chance. And if Markolov hadn't found that defuse kit, maybe that would have been it. Either way, it is around for Flipside, in spite of a very weird start.
Well, that was Fnatic, wasn't it? The plant and then the rotate back through pit towards mid. Get the guy on short to cover that courtyard. You know, there were Fnatic were very good at coming up with these inspired plays. So JW trying to make a little bit of that old magic come back to life there, but the timing just wasn't with him this time around, unfortunately.
Absolutely lethal spray from Electronic as well.
That was disgusting. I thought he was dead for sure. You're talking about an impossible, like a headshot angle as well that he transfers his spray onto. That's some control. That's muscle memory right there. It's ingrained in his bones.
Putting an end to what was actually an 9-round streak, I think, for the Fnatic team. So it's pretty impressive. And now trying to see if they can get a bit of mid-control here on the Swedish side. It isn't looking too bad.
No, and it seems like aggression is not going to be the answer here as far as Flipside are concerned. Once again, very similar setup to the one that we saw in the last round, in fact. Blade holding in jungle, Waylander up on the balcony towards B. Markolov backing him up from kitchen. Almost identical, and so we'll have to see, can they reproduce it? Because it is going to be a B hit this time around. They're going straight up on short. Waylander, should he be able to spot? He should be able to spot them, and then there's the crossfire with Markolov as well. Waylander, though, stepping up 2, just the 1. Gets the headshot, but Markolov is there to trade it back.
That drops the bomb as well, flashes in, and Markolov can't actually capitalize on it. Staying alive by the bench for Solofmeister. It's still a 3-on-3, but a really big deal here is the fact that JW has that AWP. If he can get the bomb down, he can cover almost all the angles on this bomb site. Flipside tactics are not out of the woods yet. They've got a lot of damage on Flusher, and one good grenade here would take him out, but I think JW's the man to look for. He's already got the 1 kill, sees the shoulder, Blade goes down. Olofmeister will pick up that one, and that bomb is ticking right in front. World deaded next in line, and Electronic has to back off. Flipside unable to even get close to retaking the bomb site. Fnatic fight their way out. That looked very sketchy. Looked like Flipside could have turned that, but this is a disaster for the CT side.
You have to wonder where, well, I think World Edit is just holding the angle instead of actually using that Molotov. Could have been something to work with. Bomb will blow up that AK towards Electronic. At least he's hoping it will. Yep, there it is. He spots it. What? Oh, he wanted to try and get the op. No luck, no joy. Yes, he just barely gets it. Thank you, producer, for letting us stay on that feed and not just switching to the player cam. Awesome. All right, that was a save. I thought he was just going to go for the AK and call it a day, but World Edit dying in kitchen. What a play from Electronic. There's hope.
Is it going to be the hero AWP? Will it be the one to save it for Flipside, who admittedly, they're right at the edge. They're about to be pushed off the cliff, Samla. This isn't looking good at all. It's a great first half for them, getting 8 rounds and everything. Second half here, they've only got the 1 round, and again, Fnatic speeding it up. Markolov immediately down. Electronic and Waylander coming back with a couple of kills. Electronic with the AWP still hiding all the way over there, but he's about to get closed in. Olofmeister's coming in from the other side. How does he get out alive here? He's got a bit of backup, but World Edit is down now. It's Blade on the side with a USP. Oh, what? Electronic gets the kill on Olofmeister. And now a lot of trouble for JW. That's almost unbelievable. Electronic finally down and out now, out in the open. JW with a headshot to clutch the round and bring Fnatic to 14. Man, the action is... it's just out of control at this point. You could see Olofmeister was just skipping around the corner thinking, this is great, I'm going to reconnect. Oh, wow.
Wait, somebody is here, actually here. But more importantly, I'm just thinking about Electronic. Okay, so he hits this shot. So it seems like that wasn't communicated over effectively for Olofmeister, obviously. He had no idea that Electronic was playing from here. But afterwards, for Electronic to just commit to the fight without the bomb even attempted to be, like, it wasn't even close to getting planted there. I don't know. Interesting decisions. And Flipside missing out on a chance for the hero AWP to shine forth. and bring them into the double digits realm. Instead, it's 14-9.
I mean, it's not like Fnatic didn't give away a bunch of rounds in the first half as well, so maybe they're just making up for it here by winning a couple of clutch ones. And the problem with Flipside is they're about to lose this map. Fnatic setting up for a fairly common A execute. I like the fact that Flusher's all the way up in Delpan. He's not actually top mid. Well, say that now he's falling back, but that could have been a great position actually. A lot of noise being made. Olofmeister and JW to open up and just run and gun with the AK-47. Why don't you? Waylander and Markelov, no chance to retake here, but they should save it. I know it sounds horrible because you're giving them match point, but at the same time, it isn't worth it.
No, you do save it at this point. It's all you've got to work with. And Olofmeister knows that, of course, and it's well worth him sacrificing himself here to see if he can take one of those rifles off of him. Fnatic, they have a little bit of money to work with here in the bank, and so Waylander, we'll see. Just lets JW go a stomping by. Problem is they've left 2 players on the site. Waylander, are you actually thinking about trying to get a ninja going here?
Oh, well, he's going to have to turn around. Doesn't realize Flusher's there. He was also about to be shot in the back, so chaos all over the map right now. I can't believe this. I mean, this is quite impressive. And you think about now, when you think about those clutches from Flipside, or some of those turnarounds they had in the first half, where it was 2 versus 4 against Fnatic, and they still won it, and yet they're about to lose the game. So if you get given that many chances, I would say Fnatic gave away a lot of chances of Flipside to actually win this game, and you still can't turn it. That's maybe not a good sign if you're Flipside. Like, you're in a best of 1, that's all you need. It should be all you need.
On the flip side, Anders are like the kings of the slow grind, right? Towards the late stage of the group. You know, so they're going to start, if they lose this game, they'll go up against somebody else who's lost 0-1. And then I would start really putting them ahead. I'd put them in favor, right, where they can start beating out those teams. It's going to come down to the final day, I think, for Flipside, however awkward or uncomfortable that sounds.
It does seem like that is their trend, at least from what little we've seen. Connector control established for Flipside, but do they want to fight for middle as well? Some shots ringing out with a UMP, and this is all they have. AK-47, 2 UMPs, 1 FAMAS and 1 P250 on Blade. So you can understand why he wants to be close in case anyone is going to come fight him here. Fnatic playing just a great map of Counter-Strike right now. In spite of a lot of mistakes early on, they managed to turn it around. I always think of that as a positive sign. So under a minute left right now.
Yeah, I'm impressed with how slow Fnatic are taking this. Not willing to risk anything. Measured, although as I say that, Olofmeister gets caught by Waylander in the apartments. Oh, right through the smoke. Dennis reacts in time. Not going to get sprayed down for free. He's down at 27, but he brings it back to a 4-on-4 at least, and that sets it up for the rest of his team. But 35 seconds, you're starting to run out you're starting to run out of time here if you're Fnatic.
And Waylander, he had the deep push into B apartments. He could have had that kill on JW, but he actually loses to a USP headshot at close range. Now they're making the rotation back towards the A side. That's a huge kill on Dennis. Now that means the main part of this attack is not going to have any distraction at all. They just have to win aim fights now, Fnatic. They need to close out this game right now. Don't let Flipside get back into it at all. Crim's in a bit of a dodgy position, trying to play around the triple box, getting into CT spawn and spraying in against Electronic. Not going to work out. Electronic with another headshot coming in, making it a double kill for him in the round, and an overall 23 kills. Very well done. Tied with JW on the other team. 15-10, and Flipside managed to stay alive a bit longer.
They made it to double digits in the end. They did.
They did.
Now we don't see a force out of... No, we don't see a force. We see a half-buy coming in here from Fnatic. That would be sheer insanity if they were to actually go for that. It's not 2014 anymore. I like to see it. I like to see this here from Fnatic. Measured, balancing out the economy. And so let's go. Let's see what's actually going to happen here for the Swedes, because they want to go for that explosive round onto the B site, and up close with Tech 9s, anything is possible. Olofmeister has done a little bit of tickling damage here over to World Edit on Underpass. Or he tickled him, you know?
I don't know what kind of tickling you're into, Samler, but I'll try and remember next time I get the opportunity. I'll politely decline. No tickling, please.
What happens at the after parties?
Sometimes stays at the after parties. Sometimes
follows you back to the hotel.
Sometimes it follows you back to the hotel. Yes. Yeah, we'll just leave that for a minute before we edge into territory that we can't ever recover from. Oh, that's a beautiful shot from Dennis. You love to see it now, pushing in with the Deagle. If Blade hadn't interrupted that, you wonder what would have been the outcome. World Edit going to be taking out Olofmeister as well. 4 versus 3, and starting to look a bit grim for Fnatic in this round. Still, you're given such hope when Dennis is on point, but he's one of those Deagle players that can really do a lot of damage.
It was really, yeah, and look at Blade, you know, he survives on 1 HP. So you really know at this point, well, it wasn't meant to be Fnatic. Although World Edit continues to challenge, Waylander will eventually find it. Again, I'm not a, you know, it's just not a fan of Oppers taking kills in anti-ecos. Just let the rifles do the work. $300, $600 can make the difference for you in the next round. But that's just me nitpicking.
It's all right. It's true. I mean, if you want to maximize everything you can.
There is a next level, right? Exactly. If you're playing to to maximize everything, right?
I guess in this particular example, it's the one where it matters less, just because they're 15 rounds on Fnatic, so they're not going to need the money anymore. Well, on flip side, let's see, Fnatic looking to see if they can do something here. Smoke is up in the window, and looks like they're going to be very fast indeed. Right in through the connector. Blade having a hard attack, and he ends up going down as well. With the assistance of Crims and that Tech-9, it's still a 3-on-2, but with the health left on Crims, you have to imagine this shouldn't be much of a problem for Flipside to close out the round. They will get the bomb plant for Fnatic. That's big news.
Oh, he had the chance. If only he'd have scoped Crims. One, not going to get the follow-up, however. I highly doubt it. The smoke is going to go off the block him in connector as well, and once they realize where that bomb has been planted here, Crims should have the angle despite the smoke, and sure enough, he's going to try, but it's not going to be good enough.
There was a chance. There was definitely a chance.
Had Waylander stood right, because you saw how Waylander was way off to the left, trying to open that angle as much as possible. Had he stood and like on top of the bomb or to the right of it, Crims had that shot, right? So Crims wasn't too far off. Because Waylander was one step ahead, man. Waylander was just one step ahead.
Almost up to 600,000 viewers in the first couple of games. I think that's a good job on the community. Nice to see people tuning in. Definitely get all of your friends involved. Remember, the algorithm for drops works this way, that the more people watching, the higher the drop rate becomes. So you have an incentive to lure your friends in, get them to watch as well. That's how it works. 28th round, we've got 3 men pushing top mid for Fnatic, while the rest are sort of lingering over on the A side. The bomb's still in CT or in T-spawn. That's always a big indication that they're just looking for openings. Establish a bit of map control and wait to see what Flipside do. JW's actually moving up. This is a big position for him to hold. If he could just stay here.
Yeah, this is all he needs to do, actually. Hold towards jungle. And sure enough, there was the jiggle peek! Blade is so sharp. He's not going to fall for any of that, although Electronic will walk right into it. JW not going to miss that shot.
My God.
A monster.
Bomb is being brought back. I mean, this is very uncomfortable for Flipside. I don't know why Electronic. I mean, I don't mind that he peeked it. I just don't know why he didn't win that fight. It's kind of a tricky shot to hit if you're JW, and all that showing from Electronic's point of view is also just your face. So should have been a big chance there. JW being a real menace right now. He's actually controlling almost all of this A bomb site just by being here. They can't move. I mean, you see Blade is in a really weird position, and now the rush is going to come in. Blade goes down, and JW advancing further. This is great positional play from him. Finally, World that he gets a kill, but JW is there for the double, and Wayland the last to go down. 16-12 as Fnatic take out Flipside in their first map of the major tournament. That's another really beautiful round that could be analyzed for quite a while, just showing how you can actually stay up there. I mean, it's even if JW doesn't get the kill on Electronic, just the fact that he's just alive, he's holding Blade locked into that corner, he's just taking up so much space on the map. Very interesting stuff.
It's just 25 frags for JW at the end, and the impression that you get watching this game is there's very little fluff there for JW.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about low impact frags, high impact frags. It feels like JW had just a fantastic game here going up against Flipside. Olofmeister was up there as well, although he did kind of cool off towards the end of the match. You know, a very strong start for Olofmeister. And that's you're seeing a combination of players here come into the for Fnatic that, you know, if you're a Fnatic fan right now, you got to be feeling pretty good about this.
Yeah, absolutely. They look excited and happy as well. Flipside got given all the chances to turn this in their favor. Like, they had the big upsets, they had the big clutches, and it still wasn't enough. So I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm not sure Flipside are going to get many more games like this in the major where, you know, you turn 2v4s into victories and then you still can't make it work. That's tricky. See how it goes, though. I mean, obviously they're not out, but still a bit of a rough start for them, I think.
It's almost like going according to plan, though, for Flipside. You know, I mean, it's like you don't really expect them to do super well at the first few rounds, but they've got the grit, and Blade has got that determination to just get his team rallied towards the end of it. And so I never really count Flipside out of any tournament, almost, just because it feels like they're always a threat. In group stages in particular, they're always a threat. They will take you to your limit. And so we didn't quite see that versus Fnatic, but it wasn't a stomping either. 16-12 is a very respectable score for Flipside on Mirage.
Yeah, it was. I hope to see a bit more out of them later. I think we have the panel ready, so I know there's going to be at least one happy Swede on there who might be celebrating a bit of a win for Swedish Counter-Strike. Paul, you've got him on the desk. Let us know what you think about this game.
Certainly will. Yes, there is one Swede who I'm sure is happy that his countrymen have come through a very tricky tie indeed. A potential banana skin, some might say. I can see you at home, Freiburg. We're back at the panel once more with Fifth Lauren and Moses. Robin, it's a solid win. It's a solid start for Fnatic. Some people were questioning whether they could get through to the top 8. A little bit early still to be talking about, yeah, they look like they could get to the quarters, but that's a good start.
No, definitely. I mean, it was looking extremely bad for them when Flipside started on their T side. Just not what I was expecting from Flipside to begin with. I was expecting way more executes. We did see it a few rounds, but then most of the times for Flipside's end, it was a lot of aggressive play, a lot of just punishing Fnatic and just catching them off guard. The first weapon round where you just end up walking towards B and just executing B right off the bat. I don't think Fnatic was in any way prepared for that, but thankfully they woke up a little bit. I just want to call out as well, round number 19 for Fnatic on their T side. That's such a great round that people should really rewatch. It's a round where Fnatic just ends up doing a little small fake towards B, and then they go underpass and boost up JW in the window room, and you have that rotation, and then they hit B again. It's just a perfect display on a very easy tactical round that just ends up working so well for them.
Yeah, I think Anders mentioned that in the cast as well. Yeah. Take that one out, put it in a playbook, because it was perfectly done.
Yeah, this the first half in this game is exactly why I felt a little uneasy when Flipside allows Fnatic's best, most played map to go through to be the one that's actually played, because you just had to know Blade has an answer. And Flipside is known as such like a slower-paced tactical team that when they came out so fast-paced, you could see Fnatic wasn't prepared for it at all. Yep. Eventually, they did get there. Eventually, they had like Crimson, some more aggressive positions over towards the A bomb site, but in particular, like that really fast play, the contact play towards the B bomb site, where they just throw one flashbang and just basically overwhelm the defense. Like all that was great, and it put Fnatic on the back foot. But I think Anders, kind of summed it up pretty nicely. There's not too many games you're going to get to win a 2-on-4 if you're Flipside against Fnatic. I mean, Fnatic at one point is the team where we just said they're probably the best team in the world at closing out rounds with man advantages. And then also Electronic with a 1-on-4. Yeah. So, I mean, those two things gave them a huge lead. And then, I mean, once you switch over and Fnatic's on the T side, Flipside's defending, that's when I think you can really see some of the skill disparity. Because as a CT player, you have to be able to kill 1-2 people when the hit comes into you. You have to be able to make those decisions. And I think the Flipside players are just a little bit outclassed in that sense. Like, they couldn't get some of those double kills that were needed at the right time when the execute was coming in.
I think in terms of players that stood out, JW obviously stood out amongst the team, not least because Semler picked up in the commentary that it wasn't just that he got good frags, at 25 in the end, but it was the crucial ones as well.
And it's also, that last round was great to display what kind of a impact the AWPer can have, just because having that position in Palace, it's such a positional weapon where you can like split maps in half, and essentially Blade is stuck in connector and he's jiggle peeking trying to bait out shots, but he knows he just can't really cross, so it really limits his mobility and how much he can defend and where he can watch and how he can help his teammates, because JW just knows he's holding that angle. It allows so much map control for Fnatic in middle as they get up connector, and then they just turn that corner very, very close up. If JW is not holding that angle, if he's not having that influence with the AWP, Blade could swing wide. He can get some nades down. He can get aggressive if he wants to. He can move into a different position and rotate around in some different way. But then, I mean, obviously, just hitting the beautiful shots after that is just kind of like the cherry on top.
Yeah, well, I think that all started from the kill on Electronic, didn't it, as well?
Yeah,
which was a great kill, wasn't it?
That's a tricky shot for an Alper to hit as well. And if he misses that, that's a kill for Electronic, and then he loses that, and then Blade and Electronic have all the freedom they want in that A bomb site. So, yeah, in terms of his impact, JW was phenomenal.
Okay, let's check in with one of the players from Fnatic right now. I'm sure he's very happy. Joining us from the player area is Olaf Meister. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, very well, thank you. You must be very happy after that first win. It's a difficult side, isn't it, Flipside, to play against? Explain to us why it's so difficult to play against them.
They play a very tactical game, and it's kind of hard because almost every team is somehow a favorite against them. I think a lot of people and experts underestimate them, so it's always hard to be like a very heavy favorite when you know they're really good.
Yeah. What happened in the early part of the first half? Were you surprised by their aggression?
No, but I think that we played a little bit too scared in the start, and then we just took a tactical and just said, guys, we need to play our game. We are better than these guys, so just play our game and we will win in the end, and that's what worked.
Yeah, absolutely. It must feel good to get the first win under the belt as well at the Major. I know you're a bit of a veteran of these. You played at all of them, of course, but how important is it to get off to a winning start for your team?
Of course, it's really important. It's I think it's the first time it's a Swish system here in the Major, so I guess that's really important now. But yeah, it's always good to have the win in the start.
We've got Moses and Fifth Laren alongside. I'm sure Fifth Laren shares your joy at winning the first game.
No, yeah, for sure. I think that you guys played really well. I have a quick question. I read that Flusha said something about I think it was ESL1 that you have switched in-game leaders to Crims, and Flusha does a few mid-round calls. What kind of difference has that made for?
We switched back, so.
Oh, have you? It's like VP.
Short-lived.
Yeah,
Short-lived.
It's like VP.
Okay, then. So that
he didn't like it.
No, I don't think it's like we haven't really had those results we wanted. So we tried actually out after Easy Cologne. There's a lot of opinions, So Dennis wanted to try. Then after one day, he was like, I don't want to do this. And then Flusha was and everybody thinks that Flusha is the best caller. I don't know why we even changed, but Flusha is for sure the best, so we should let him be the caller, in my opinion. And everyone says.
What I mean, you guys have had this transition of you guys getting back together at the beginning of the year and trying to find like a new way to have success with this roster, because the old style, I know you guys have alluded to in some interviews, hasn't really worked the way you've wanted it to. What are some of the kind of like the changes you guys are trying to make, like tactically or on your inside the server for this team that's going to help you move forward?
You will see it on the server. I can't tell you too much, but we're trying to we need to play with more confidence. We're in the sense that we don't communicate too good. Like when you have confidence, everything goes good. Like you communicate a lot better. You take the good decisions, and you do everything a lot better. And somehow we've been in. I don't know, in a shell or something, and just don't do what we're supposed to do. And we have talked about it that we can't put too much pressure on ourselves, and just play our game and bring a little bit more tactical side to it. Speaking into that a little bit, I know Jumpy in the pregame said you guys don't really like anti-strat opponents, but when you come into a flip side, just before this match, obviously you look into what maps could be played in the matchup. When you approach a team like Flipside, how do you even determine that, seeing as how they've only had 7 maps played total in the last 3 months? It's a little bit hard. I know that Jumpy did a lot of work for them, and he does a lot of work for every team we play against, and he has a lot of information. Then we decide he asks us what we want to know and stuff like that, and then he just tells us. We decide kind of depending on what map it is and who we play against, how much anti-stratting we do. Did you have any idea it was going to be Mirage in this? Was that kind of one of the maps you threw up there? I was 100% sure it was going to be Mirage because they play Nuke, Overpress, and Train, and there's the only 3 maps that they basically played, so it's kind of stupid for us not to ban those 3s, and then they are on a map they don't want to be on. So cool, good stuff. How are you finding the new veto process? I don't know. I think it's good. I think it was kind of fine with the random thing in Major. It was special, so I liked it, but it's good. Cool. All right. I just want to ask you one more question, Olaf, as well. You've had tremendous success throughout your career. You're now the joint, I have to say, alongside Crims, most experienced player ever at the Majors. You played 78 maps here. You've also played more rounds than anyone else at the Majors as well. How important are records to you, obviously being a 3-time winner too? I'm a 2-time winner. Flusha and JW is a 3-time winner. Yes, my bad. it's always fun to be like we are also with I don't know Device, Hypnix and Dupree. I think I don't know if the Dupree counts. They're the only ones that's made it to playoff in every single major. So it's fun to say and fun to like have, but in the end it doesn't matter in my opinion. Like it's a new major. You need to bring your game and play.
All right, I love that. Thank you very much for joining us, Olaf, and congrats on the first game of the day.
Good luck, Olaf.
Thank you.
There we go then. Fnatic, former champions, of course, 4 of them with 10 between them. 10 major championships. Astonishing success. And talking in the interview about a lack of confidence. I find that absolutely unbelievable. You'd think, players with this experience and this success, you just automatically expect them to have confidence.
You can probably touch on that a little bit.
No, I'm just going to refer back to like last time when they first started making these roster changes, right? Like something obviously has happened within this team, and then when you have these players split apart, you create 2 new rosters, Fnatic and Godsent, and then obviously that didn't work at all, and then they suddenly realize, hey, actually, we were pretty good together. we should make a team again. Yay! And then you come back, and then it's like you're still gonna have these small issues. Maybe you worked on them, maybe you haven't, right? But during that course of time, the game has changed a little bit, and then you got to go back to your groove. And keep in mind as well, they were not playing to the best when this team split up. When they first made this change, and it comes with it. Like even NIP, when they made the roster change now, you can even look at VP not right now as well. It's like when you're not winning games, you're not going to be confident enough to make the plays that you normally do.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a little bit of a shell shock when they spent, a year and a half being the team that was, everyone was just saying this team's near unbeatable. And that was true. Like barely anyone could beat these guys in this roster. I mean, it had those 7 tournaments in a row. And I have to imagine that you have some experience with that just because NIP was unbeatable for a long time. And you always spoke about that first loss that you guys had on LAN was like a relief. Finally, you got it off your shoulders. But if there's like a prolonged period where what you're doing isn't working, that just wears players down who are used to winning everything, who are used to being in the finals. And now you're going out in group stages. And that's when the tensions flare up. That's when the frustration arises.
Is it too early to talk about quarterfinals for these boys at the very least?
Yep.
I definitely think so, yeah.
Still need to see more from.
Listen, we've seen the craziness in the group stages for Fnatic, and it doesn't always amount to them beating the people they need to beat. Sometimes it's like an upset happens elsewhere, and they end up having to play one of the better teams in the tournament to get out of the group stage. I mean, it's not always up to them.
Okay, thank you very much for your thoughts. Moses and Fifth Laren with their thoughts on our second game of the day. 2 down, 6 to go, and so far it's 2-0 to the Legends. What's it going to be next? We'll find out soon.